building up a platform where hope can
Welcome
be
to the Nikki
seen.
Clarke Show. I'm your host, Nikki Clarke, and I'm so excited to be back with yet another stellar interview. The show is about transforming lives one story at a time, and we've been doing this for 17 years. And today's guest is Rob Gerbrandt, a globally recognized expert in information governance, ethical AI, data strategy, and digital transformation. With more than 30 years of leadership and consulting experience, Rob has helped organizations around the world better manage information, reduce risk, and prepare for the future of artificial intelligence and digital innovation. As a thought leader, speaker, and executive advisor, Rob is passionate about helping organizations and individuals understand how information, technology, and responsible AI can be used to create better outcomes and build trust in a rapidly evolving digital world. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you, Nikki, and congratulations on 17 years.
Oh, thank you so much.
That intro was a mouthful.
It was. I need a glass of water. No, but that speaks to you and the amazing accomplishments that you've been doing
Thank you.
over the many years.
you.
How many years has it been?
Well, I left the military in 97 and started consulting right after that. Got
Okay.
into governance, risk, and compliance consulting. So it's been 29 years
29
that I've been
years.
doing this type of consulting. So
I love it. So tell us a little bit more about your journey leading you to this. So we know about the military.
we know the military was there and still have the haircut, but that's okay. I mean, for me, it was a journey to sort of figure out, first of all, what was I going to do after the military?
Mhm.
Right? And then it was a case to say, how can I make that much of a difference? I started just as a project manager,
Right.
helping organizations move from project to project to project. I spent some time with TD Bank back in the early 2000s. And at that point in time, of course, the bank was just going through their acquisition of a couple of US banks.
Right.
And they became exposed to the business of electronic discovery. In the legal world, that's all about, if you're being sued, you have to produce content.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that was my sort of first exposure into why information is important, right? And from there, it just kept building and building and building.
Mhm.
I started working with a startup company out of Mountain View, California for a couple of years, learned that sort of experience. Then I worked with KPMG, and then I launched out on my own for a few years. And most recently, I spent 7 years with Iron Mountain
Mhm.
as their global head of information governance advisory, helping a broad range of clients to understand the importance, the risk, the value
Right.
of information.
Brilliant. So for viewers who may not be familiar with the term, what exactly is information governance?
It's one of those poorly defined terms. If you do a Google search on the term information governance, you'll come up with dozens of different definitions. In fact, that was one of the first things that we struggled with at Iron Mountain, was to say, well, what is that definition? So, in fact, we ended up landing on the Gartner definition of information governance. And really, in a nutshell, what it is, it's about the right controls around information. It's about making sure you've got the perspective of privacy, of security, of cybersecurity, of data analytics, all of that wrapped into a clean envelope
Right.
of how you're going to manage your information.
Excellent. And what do you think is considered, one of any organization's most valuable assets in terms of information?
Yeah, well, that's always the question, because every organization is different.
Okay.
Excuse me. When an organization thinks about their information, they naturally go to, if they're a bank, it's the customer information.
Right.
And how do you protect and manage that customer information? And then how do you sort of protect and manage the information that is critical to your business, to running your business? All information is critical across the board, whether it's unstructured, those lovely Microsoft Office,
Yeah.
documents and spreadsheets and everything else that we create, the videos that we create, the calendar invites, the data fields, your medical health information, all of that's critical.
Right.
But it's critical to different companies in different ways. Excuse me. So
Excellent, excellent. AI is transforming every industry. Now, how do you see AI changing the way organizations operate?
AI is one of those great levelers of the field. It allows organizations, excuse me, of all sizes to be able to get better perspective on their information. It allows them to remove some of the barriers of access to that information, because often information sits in a dark place. It sits on your shared drives, or it sits on your servers, and it's not really accessible.
Right.
So AI can help you gain access to that, help you interpret that, and help you transform that into something that is usable today.
Excellent. But what does ethical AI mean, and why is it so important?
The business of AI today, and we're still in that infancy of AI, particularly generative AI. So that organizations are still struggling to say, well, what's the line in the sand that I should use for AI? Ethical AI is all about making the right decisions about how you're going to use AI. If you look at for example, European Union AI Act, which came out last year, and it came down to say, these are the types of AI that are important, that have to be controlled, that organizations have to be able to be aware of.
Right.
And that whole idea of ethical AI around, how do I use this? What am I using it for the right purposes?
Right.
And am I preventing it from being used for the wrong purposes?
Okay.
That's that broad perspective. There's a lot of good examples and bad examples of how AI is used today.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the risks about AI. What risks should organizations consider before implementing AI solutions?
I think the biggest risk is having access to the right information. Most organizations today, they just don't have the ability to classify or categorize their information. I've seen numbers of 45% or higher of organizations that just don't have the ability to classify their content. So they don't know what they're pointing that AI at. That's a really important piece of the puzzle. Make sure you've got clear understanding about what that data is, what that information is. Because what you don't want to be pushing into your AI are things like personally identifiable information. We don't want your social insurance number to be out through AI. We don't want your personal health information to be out through AI. We don't want the core intellectual property of an organization to be consumed AI.
Right.
And frankly, we don't want the records of an organization to be consumed by AI.
Absolutely.
So it's all about putting in the right control around that information and giving visibility to what information you're actually going to be able to be pushing into your AI.
Okay, I love it. So let's talk about your company. I know it's very innovative. Tell us the title and the premise behind it.
Yeah, thanks. So RMG Consulting, it's one of those classic names. When I left the military, I had to come up with a name, register a company name. So I just said Robert Morris Gerbrandt, RMG Consulting. That was nice and easy, and it stuck from there. What we do is we help organizations solve for those information problems, understanding the risks, looking at how mature their practices are, looking at how their processes are, and helping them train their people on the effective use of information. One of the pieces of the puzzle that we're really proud of lately is that we've just launched a new tool set called IG Cleanse.
Love it.
And what IG Cleanse is it enables an organization to address that dark data that I was just talking about.
Yes.
Give visibility, classify their content, help them to be able to put the right controls in place, and to make sure that that information is not being exposed to AI inappropriately or anywhere else, quite frankly.
I love that. Okay, so we're coming to the close of our questions, but I want to ask you, what legacy do you want to leave behind through your work?
I think helping organizations to improve that condition of the information, right? Helping them to really get perspective on what is good information. What does information mean to me as an organization?
Right.
And it's not just something that's there, right? I want to help organizations get a real perspective and understand the value that is in their information, because it's huge, huge value.
It's huge. Absolutely. All right, we've got some rapid fire questions.
All right.
Are you ready?
We'll give it a try.
Okay. AI optimist or AI realist?
Optimist.
One word that describes your leadership style.
Collaborative.
Favorite book?
I'd say the one I'm writing now, but that'd be a self-serving. So I'll pass on that one.
Biggest lesson learned in business?
Never get stuck with the first error.
One technology you can't live without?
My phone.
What inspires you?
My son.
What does success mean to you?
Success for me is just making a little bit of a difference. It's being able to get up every day and giving a piece of information, a thought leadership, getting people to read it, having people sort of appreciate that. That's what success is.
Excellent. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing your pearls of wisdom with us. And I know people would love to connect with you. So how can they do that on social media?
Sure. A couple of different ways. They can go through my website, www.rmgim.ca. You can also find us through www.igcleanse.com or on LinkedIn at Rob Gerbrandt.
Or through Nikki Clarke Show.
Or through the Nikki Clarke Show. Absolutely. My apologies.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the innovative work that you're doing through AI and that. So, yeah.
Thank you, Nikki.
Definitely staying connected.
This has been great. I look forward to continuing our relationship and friendship.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with our next guest.